Hola from Spain. Thanks for watching this virtual presentation talking about the abstract and paper called Agile Methodology Applied to Vocational Education, Computer Science, Information and Communication Technologies in the 12th Annual International Conference on Education and New Learning Technologies, Edulearn 20. All information about it's available in the conference database. If you have any other question, please don't hesitate and contact me after watching this video. First of all, I want to share with you my concern about accessibility and what can we do to make a better world. This presentation has been made thinking in accessibility, and all disabilities that can affect access to the content are auditory, cognitive, neurological, physical, speech, and visual. Accessibility also benefits people without disabilities, for example, people using mobile phones, smartwatches, smart TVs, and other devices with small screens. Older people with changing abilities due to aging. People with temporary disabilities such as a broken arm or lost glasses. People with situation limitations such as bright sunlight or in an environment where they cannot listen to the audio. People using a slow internet connection. Universidad San Jorge, located in Villanueva de Gallego, on the outskirts of the city of Zaragoza, was founded in 2005 and formed part of the San Valero group. So here we are. Now let me introduce my colleagues. The following are university teachers who help in this document. My life is mobile, thinking mobile, go everywhere with my mobile, and most of the times call with my mobile. I was living in King of Wonders, called Cambodia, in South Asia a few years ago, and nowadays I'm living in Zaragoza, starting my best project, my children. My life is all about education. My father was secondary teacher, my wife is secondary teacher, and a lot of friends are teachers. Primary school, secondary school, university. So I decided to study master's degree in teacher training in compulsory secondary and vocational education. Let's get down to business, shall we? This is one of my favorite quotes. Henry Ford said, "You can learn in a school what the world is going to do in next year." I like this quote because nobody knows what will happen next year, and sadly, we have live example with virus COVID-19. First of all, what is Agiledu? Agiledu is an acronym joining Agile methods and education. Okay, so let's check the menu list with all the things you'll get to take away. First, we will talk about Agile methodologies and frameworks involved in Agiledu. Second, we will take a look into Agile education and we will check data about adoption affinity. Third, okay, but how Agiledu works? We will list the stakeholders, timeline, and the concept of education product. Fourth, real example using Agiledu in a everything in life have a motivation. And this is the most beautiful part. Why things are like itself. Why I wrote about this? First, because my previous background is developing mobile apps and technology companies. And I have been working with Agile my last 10 years, and I have the know-how. Now, I'm studying teachers training master degrees, and master thesis then is about Agiledu. Let's check current context. Students' lack of interest or motivation is a worldwide problem that directly affects the immediate need of companies to hire qualified technical employees. The aim of this presentation is to describe, evaluate, and discuss a set of methodologies for teaching computer science, information, and communication technology in vocational training in Spain. Because there are a high demand of IT professionals that have not been covered, this methodology aims to help students in vocational training into a teaching learning process. In this presentation, we will try to bring the three methodologies closer to the classroom, allowing the students to create his or her personalized product, his or her education. Inquiry-based learning methodology needs collaborative, multidisciplinary, and open surrounding. which might enable vocational training students to develop competencies in the context of real-world enterprises. Agile methodology is not the main subject of this paper, but Scrum as teaching method, Lean as process to make, work and measure learning, and design thinking as process to filter official curriculum to get significant content and develop soft skills. So, design thinking allows us as a teacher to answer the following question. What do my students need to learn in the subject? Lean. What is the objective of the learning process? And Scrum. How should classes be organized and how the students learn? We will see the schedule of action with each of the methodologies involved and how the main elements of the curriculum are applied in the process. In addition to this, we will also see how it fits blended learning model with in-person classroom activities, online learning, materials, and structured independent study time guide using. A lot of teachers are not trained in agile methodologies, nor do they have knowledge of what they are in themselves, but there is a considerable percentage of them who makes use of them indirectly in the classroom. With the aim of obtaining answers to the current state of knowledge and methods used by teachers on agile methodology in the classroom, a data collection was carried out during the master degree in teachers in the 2019-2020 academic year for teachers in the Spanish educational system. So let's talk about affinity percentage. Data have been collected with online forms with 50 teachers involved, 24 of them with less than 10 years of experience and 26 more than 10 years of experience. The interviews and forms had been divided into blocks of questions formulated in an indirect way, so we got 54.1% agile methodology affinity, and that's a good percentage because all of the teachers didn't know about how to implement agile in education, and that's a good percentage. Also, we get an upper percentage for assessments, tools, and evaluation affinity. Okay, I got it, but agile methodologies come from the world of software development and were born to provide solutions to common problems that appear in projects, such as the inability to complete the projects, delay in developments, and expansion of requirements. Agile methodologies revolve around an idea, creating products focused on users. Agiledu is composed by design thinking as a methodology that looks for and identifies the real product needs of the users. Lean searches for the minimum viable product, MVP. Scrum manages the development teams to build the product. Each of the three separately have a wide use in classrooms around the world. For example, Scrum has been applied in different countries such as the Netherlands and the USA, with Edulearn being the most important manifesto. Willy Wigner is its author and he has been charged of definition the rule of the games of Edulearn, which define a framework in the classroom. This document defines the various parts any vocational teacher in the family of computer and communication technology can follow in creating an education product centered on the students. These methodologies will answer the following three questions. What do my students need to learn in the subject? That's the product design for design thinking. And what is the objective of the learning process? Minimum viable product, that is related with Lean. And how should classes be organized? And how do students learn? Is the final or the product acquired? That is related with Scrum. The aim of this methodology is to take a minimum viable product, MVP, which in education would be the most important thing that each student should learn, as well as measuring and iterating this learning process through the course. So it's required us to plan the time of the activities. As shown in the image, the main phases that make up the complete lean cycle are: learn and think, using curriculum and design thinking; build and make, small experiments or activities to make coursework; measure and analyze, those experiments to improve. To create such MVP, it's necessary to obtain from the curriculum the minimums that it stipulates and to build the product on them, making and planning the activities that cover the complete cycle of lean measurement, evaluating, creating activities again, or reiterating on them if the introspective of one indicates it to us. Scrum is an interactive and incremental framework for project development and is structured in work cycles called sprints. These are iterations of 1 to 4 weeks and they follow one another. Scrum is a framework on which we develop the Agiledu methodology in the classroom. This framework has 5 events or ceremonies, which are the ones we will apply in the classroom in an analogous way. Sprint is the duration of the didactic unit or topic, where the contents or tasks to be learned are included. Planning the sprint. At the beginning of the teaching unit or module, the content and activities to be given are planned jointly by students and teacher. This planning is refined in each iteration. Daily meeting. Every day, the progress of the task or contents by students is checked with the guidance of the teacher. A sprint review, in the form of a test that measures the tasks that have been completed. It's then self-evaluated or assessed with the participation of students. Retrospective, in which the question, what went wrong, what went well, what can be improved are asked. The distribution of the classroom is essential because the cooperative component of the methodology, since the student learns to learn, and the teacher becomes a mere guide for them. Now that we are clear about each of the frameworks and methodologies that are part of Agiledu, it's important to know how the tasks are to be executed in a linear way. According to the image, we must take into account 3 big blocks. First, planification block. Teacher add tasks, activities, sessions, everything about previous methodologies, design thinking and lean. Also, teachers share game rules with the students. Second block is executing block. Session and daily actions in classroom. 3 Scrum events involved: the sprint, sprint planning, and daily Scrum meeting. And the last one is review block. Measure and analyze tasks. 2 Scrum events involved: sprint review and sprint retrospective. Also, 1 Scrum artifact involved: burn down chart to improve the progress and detect block tasks. Now we are going to see how the interaction between the different actors involved in the methodology, teachers and the student is, and also in what process interaction between both take place and how information is passed between them. To this end, the image we can see that the teacher is in charge of doing the task and putting them into the in the backlog. The student interacts in both directions with this task and with the teacher. On the other hand, teacher prepares the revision task that the students have to complete in order to measure the tasks that have been completed. So let's see a real-world case. Parallel to customer journey, teacher and student journey is the path we walk to create a delicious educative product. I'm going to tell you how I use it during my master training period. The activities: what the student will feel on her or his onboarding first job. I try to recreate how tech companies, at the end, how I make with my new mates at work nowadays, make this onboarding system and how employees have to learn by her or himself At the end, teacher is the test manager who kickstarts the student to start any project. Due to the actual situation, COVID-19, I didn't meet any student or I couldn't interact with audio or video in real time. So this is important because of the new paradigm about remote education and what is the best solution nowadays. First, I create 6 teams with 4 students in each one. That's the best number in cooperative work. One of the member of the team is the Scrum Master and is the person who tries to communicate with the teacher. EduScrum, name it EduScrum Master. Then I chop activities in small parts called issues, same as I made with a real project on clients. The difference is I made design thinking with current Spanish vocational training curriculum, and that's the real life client requirements. So I set up the panels with GitHub and online tool to manage software code. I use it because in the school use it, and because the actual virtuality, it was the best method to access the remotely by the students. But this Kanban panel can be handmade with POSIT in a classroom as well as the virtual one. So I had all issues, small learning task, in every issue, small to-do list, in order to be checked every time students or groups did it. At the end, the group should learn it. I didn't set how to be accomplished. I mean, they had free to learn individual or sharing concept with their team. That's the magic of the projects, of the process. First video, according to Sprint 1, I simulate I was the technical lead and I apologize about I couldn't stay with them, but I will be able to respond every question they had. Then I explain they need to take a look every issue to learn technologies involved in their project and the company in order to learn how to develop in the next sprint. Second video, Sprint 2, is about how to practice learning concept in Sprint 1 and what are the real client requirements to develop our. What about the students? Did they follow the issues? Here is the most important tool, daily meeting. Every day, on every session, they write down 3 questions about the team progress. What I did yesterday or last session, what I'll do today, what is blocking me. My work during those 4 weeks was to reply every team with all questions. Focus on the last one because it's the one implies learning process. I mean, what is blocking me? That means that the student is learning. So you can see the number of replies I got, and in the following slide I tell you the results. And how students learn? Definition of done. In the first video and the first issue explaining the rules, we establish it and they move tickets to done. All team members pass issue activities, or one team member explain the others what is an activity inside, because she or he read it and studied it at the end. The best result I got is given by weeks periods. Every sprint I planned was 2 weeks long, same duration as in the software company. And I adopt this measure because my training time was 5 weeks, so I spent 1 week preparing the material and 2 weeks per sprint. So, what happened first week? A student didn't write about task or doubt. A lot of students complain about the task to the director and other teachers in the school. So yeah, the beginning was very hard. They don't move any task. So next week, only 1 or 2 teams write daily meetings questions and move task. But what happened the third week? Every team write daily meetings and move tasks without help. And the last one, every team ask doubts and think by themselves different ways to accomplish tasks. So at the end, every team works in a successful way. One important action is retrospective session, and we made it using writing message. It's the image we can see. Here we can see number of and statistics about activities. At the end, we can see how students were hooked to learn and inquiry-based learning success. So we had 16 tasks, 108 comments, 12 questions about tasks, 2 record videos, all teams finished tasks. So at the end, the activities were successful. Is it replicable in other countries? Yes, for sure. Agiledu can be used in every country over the world. It doesn't have any dependency and the process is totally replicable. I mean, we have internationalized project, other cultural context, and no tech dependency. So we can use hybrid learning or 100% online or in class. It not depends of the technology or the spaces or whatever. So that's all. Thanks a lot. Don't hesitate to ask me questions or suggestions. I'm open to answer you, and I hope next year, or I hope we can meet in another situation, not with this virus. So thanks a lot. Bye.